Welcome back to the channel, this tactical intellectual channel. So we have a pretty straightforward edition of Scholar's Corner here, and as you can already tell, the topic will be surrounding Allison Weir. So we're gonna check out a sample of her credibility in regards to her non-fiction sources and accounts of historical figures that gives us a better picture and idea of who these people were. So let's go ahead and move forward. So naturally, some people will be thinking, who is Allison Weir and what is so important about her, if anything at all? Well, let's check out this Google screenshot here. See this lady right here in the black background? That's Allison Weir right there. Of course, she's British. She's 72 years old, born in 1951. All right, so scroll down a little bit. In the bottom right-hand corner, it says Allison Weir is a British author and public historian. She primarily writes about the history of English royal women and families in the form of biographies that explore their historical setting. She has also written numerous works of historical fiction. So it's only natural that on this platform I will draw from her non-fiction works that you find in her portfolio. So on to the next part. So for those who are interested, on the screen you can see the compilation of historical fiction works that Allison Weir has in her portfolio, but we don't deal with that on this platform. What we do deal with is the historical non-fiction part. So we're scrolling, and as you can see, there's a lot of length to this list here, and this is historical non-fiction, and I'm definitely going to utilize a lot book title wise because this really is a treasure trove of information. So let's go back to this historical non-fiction screen here, and let's scroll down a little bit. I'm doing some foreshadowing, but this will definitely elicit a harsh or a strong response when I finally do use content from one of her titles, and that title is this here: Elizabeth the Queen / The Life of Elizabeth I. Came out in 1998. That's foreshadowing. I'm not going to say anything more, but hey, that's going to be a strong response when I finally get there, when I do a presentation on that family there. So we have the Wikipedia article up, and let's go ahead and read a little bit of it. In the 1970s, Weir spent 4 years researching and writing a biography of the 6 wives of Henry VIII. Her work was deemed too long by publishers and was consequently rejected. A revised version would be published in 1991 as her second book, The 6 Wives of Henry VIII. In 1981, she wrote a book on Jane Seymour, which was again rejected by publishers, this time because it was too short. Weir finally became a published author in 1989 with Britain's Royal Families, a compilation of genealogical information about the British royal family. She had revised the work 8 times over a 22-year period and decided that it might be of interest to others. After organizing it into chronological order, the Bodley Head agreed to publish it. So let's skip the middle portion that just details and goes over her nonfiction works. So the last few sentences reads, many of Weir's works deal with the Tudor period, which she considers the most dramatic period in our history, with vivid, strong personalities. The Tudor period is the first one for which we have a rich visual record, with the growth of portraiture and detailed sources on the private lives of kings and queens. This was an age that witnessed a growth in diplomacy and the spread of the printed word. So the time period was the 1970s. That's when Allison Weir started on her journey. We see that she spent 4 years doing research and writing biographical content, and all of this surrounded the monarchy and the royals of the UK or Britain, England, whatever you want to use. So this is not a cheap researcher here that I am speaking of. I mean, she has intimate knowledge and goes into great detail when it comes to her collection of written works. So I'm definitely going to draw from that. And I really do need to add that when it comes to a detractor versus the piece of information from whatever source that I use, the author of that source is generally 10 times out of 10 more knowledgeable on said subject that I use than any detractor found in a YouTube comment section, on a YouTube video platform, on TikTok, or even someone that's in the US in general, whether they be an author in the US. I mean, this woman that grew up in Great Britain started researching back in the 1970s. I'm sure she's more adept or proficient than her US born counterpart, who is playing the contrarian and have no qualms about upholding the status quo and pushing the false narrative that this image is more ideal to my feelings, my pride, my ego. No, that's not what this tactical intellectual platform is about. We're about the truth. And we're definitely going to take into account the first-hand accounts, the people who walked with these people, who viewed these people, spoke with these people. We're gonna take into account the detailed descriptions that they had to bring out in regards to these historical figures that we read about and see on television programs and in movies. It will all be considered when it comes to building that image, the correct image, up in your mind. I can't stomach this fictional rendition any longer, so we have to come with the truth, and hey, that's that. Hey folks, I have a good idea. Let's play a short clip featuring Allison Weir so you can know what she looks like, sounds like, know that she's a real person, and know what her thought process is when it comes to historical figures.
Film is a powerful medium, and a lot of people will never make the leap from films and novels to history books, even if a history book's written like a novel as a strong narrative. And that's what worries me, because it's the media, Anne, that has actually grabbed the public's imagination, and a lot of the fans are young, they're teenagers, they think all the clothes are wonderful and that the story is great. Oh, she did love Henry, he loved her, sort of thing. And you can see this very superficial level of interest in Anne. There are virtual fan clubs on the internet. They're obsessive, and it really worries me because they've gone too far away from objective research. Because I think when you do engage with a historical character, there's an emotional involvement, and that can be dangerous because it can distort your view.
So that was a very interesting video clip. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like what she said, and I have to say, myself and other content creators who are in this truth-telling field or realm, we do this janitorial work because, as Allison Weir mentioned, there's a lot of people who have an emotional involvement or a form of emotional involvement that has led to a distorted view of these historical figures. And that was brought about because they have a superficial level of interest to begin with. And they, like she said, they've gone too far away from objective research. So it's the lack of objective research that led to the superficial level of interest, that led to the distorted view and emotional involvement. That very weird combination right there. That's definitely in need of a remedy, and this platform and other like-minded platforms or content creators, they provide just that. So that's the end of this video presentation here, and hey, I had a blast, and I'll see you guys next time.